welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo, and we got a great show. It's our annual Christmas show, and joining us, returning for several years in a row now, my favorite Christmas guest, Katya Grineva. Welcome, Katya. Welcome back to Let Them Talk, and it's great to have you on. And I know whenever you're on, number one, it means that Christmas is around the corner, and number two, it means you have a great show for us at Carnegie Hall, as you are the in-residence performer every year for the last, I said umpteenth, because I forgot how many years, but you've been doing it for quite a while. Yeah. So welcome, and welcome back to, you've been all over the world, so I can even say welcome back to New York, because you've been all over the world, and we'll talk more about all the places you've been and played over the last 12 months. Right, but first, let's tell folks what you got. What do you got planned for us? Let's show it. Here's the card. Katya Grineva, a classical holiday, presents a classical holiday at Carnegie Hall, Wednesday, December 27th at 8 p.m. And here's what you'll be playing. What you'll be playing, and for folks who have some knowledge of music. Fine music, beautiful music. I can tell you, I've seen this show now, the last 3 years in a row or something, and I never miss it because it's fun. How many times you get to go to Carnegie Hall? So I try never to miss it, and every year it's exciting. It's so exciting. Last year was very exciting.
Yeah.
And you had your friend who played the cello with you, right? Is that a cello?
He didn't play with me, but he announced my concert.
He announced the concert.
He played a concert with me in September.
Okay, right. That's what it was, right. Yeah. And, well, we'll talk more about that, right? But so this is you.
It's just my solo concert.
Right, your show. This is it. You 100%. Right. Oh, I saw your September show. That's why. I forgot about that. God, it seems like a year ago already. All right, so Katya's here with us, and I thought we were going to begin because this is a cute little video that you have. It's about 4 minutes long that really tells the story. And you present some of the type of work you do, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to talk for another minute, and I'll tell folks what the show's about, and then we're going to play one of the pieces from your DVD here where you played in Singapore, and then after that we'll talk about where you've been in the last year, all the places you've been. All right, great, wonderful. So let's run to the video and see Katya, and then we'll come back and talk some more. So here it is.
Oh, good.
Yeah, great. Let me make it louder.
I don't know. Not musicians, but the neighbors called one day my mom and said they're taking children to the music school, and they took me along for the walk through the park, and I got accepted in the music school, and I played ever since. And when I was very lucky because at 15 years old I was entered at school under Moscow Conservatory and studied with Pavel Messner, who was one of the best musicians at that time. And he gave me opportunity to play in Moscow Conservatory Hall. That was my first concert, and that's when I realized I want to be a concert pianist. My father was a cancer research scientist and worked a lot with scientists all over the world. So the scientists with whom he worked were in Buffalo at the Roswell Memorial Park at Cancer Institute, and they invited me for 1 month's vacation. So when I came to United States, and I decided to stay, and I had two dreams: to study and to one day play at Carnegie Hall. I have already 5 CDs of romantic repertoire, and I have Carnegie Hall concert during the holiday season. So I was talking to my friend Byron, who produced first 2 discs for me, and we thought that it would be great to record a new CD of holiday repertoire. We made a lot of research, and we didn't find any classical CD of that repertoire. So we're making arrangements of carols, and I'm going to play Nutcracker by Tchaikovsky, and I think it's going to make really beautiful CD, which I hope will bring a lot of joy and happiness to people during that season.
back to let them talk. So we were just, Katya, that was great. That gives a little introduction of your work and what a beautiful pianist you are. So you're from Russia, right? Tell us a little bit. You told about your background there. You grew up in Russia, and it was by accident you got taken to a music performance as a child, and somebody gave you an audition.
Music school.
A music school, right? And they auditioned you.
Right, they auditioned me.
Did they have a reason to audition you before that?
No, it's just my neighbors took the kids to that school, and I went along.
And they just
And we
auditioned
were
any
5
kid who
years
walks.
old, yeah.
You were
five years old. So I don't remember much about that. I only remember actually walking through the park and having fun with my friends. But then the neighbors came back to my mom and said, you know, she's like, she can study at the music school. And my parents thought about it, and we didn't have a piano. So they said, well, they'll give me 6 months to just try it out. And I would practice piano at my neighbor's apartment. And after 6 months, the teacher called my mom and said, you know, she's really talented, so you should buy her a piano. So then they bought me this beautiful upright Zimmermann, which arrived to our apartment one night. And my mom called me to the room and she said, you know, you have this beautiful piano. If you don't want practice, fine, we'll sell the piano. And I always practiced. Besides, I loved it. Like, to me, it was such a sad idea that my mom might sell this piano.
You didn't want it, so you started practicing.
I was always practicing because I kind of loved it. I actually, I remember having this thought, and I was very young, maybe 7 years old. I thought, how can people be happy if they don't play the piano? To me, like, playing piano was absolute happiness. And if I didn't play one day, I felt it at the end of the day that my day was missing something. And I still feel the same. Like, if I miss a day when I don't play, like something is missing.
Yeah,
So I really love it.
That's great. I mean, I wish, because, you know, I tried a few different instruments, and I just got distracted by baseball and sports and playing with my friends. It was very distracting, and I wish I had spent more time on it. And I realized, looking back, it's as the great inventor of the light bulb, Thomas Edison, once said, and probably many others said it, it's 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. Although with you, I would think maybe
I think it's more inspiration for me than perspiration.
Yeah,
I
more
mean,
inspiration?
I practice a lot because I have to, but I actually love it.
How do they know? What do they hear at the age of 5 that made the school think that you had talent in this area?
I think there was something about my hand and the way my hand would lay on the piano. They used to say to all the kids, watch your hands, watch your hands. They were very natural. Like, I didn't have to push anything. I kind of did everything very natural.
Your hands fell on the point.
And I have my own way of playing. Like, my technique is original in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I play more by touch, not by push.
Okay.
So, and I remember, like, one of the biggest inspiration for me was to be at the concert of Horowitz. I was 15 years old when he played his last concert in Moscow. And I was sitting on the 4th row. And I thought it was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. And I still think it was the most beautiful concert I've been in my life. But the sound was so exquisite and transparent that after that, I started practicing 10 hours a day. Basically, every minute I had, I would spend at the piano because I was trying to find that sound. And I think I succeeded because everybody says, oh, she has this amazing light touch and the color. And it was from that.
I think every great musician I've ever talked to has a similar type of story. They always say the same thing. It's funny, every musician always says, I was searching for the sound.
That's the most important thing. It's like a voice for the singer. Unless you have that voice, you can't express yourself. And I think with piano, the sound is it's so important. Of course, you have to have musicianship and understanding of music and feeling for it. But
how are you in theory and that kind of thing? Did you take a lot of courses in music theory?
I was very good. I had very quick mind.
Quick mind. So you took to that stuff, all the octaves and
I was very quick.
The math. It's a lot of math involved.
I was like the best in class.
Is it because you're a science? Your family was science. Your dad was a cancer doctor.
Right,
science
cancer research scientist.
Right. So there was science. Like a math and music seems to go together.
They do. Yeah.
Right, math ability and
it's the
ability
same mind.
Yeah. And I think of all those people, like in the American South, who never had a chance to go to even to school and then picked up a guitar or something and like invented American music and became jazz and blues players. And I wonder where it came from. Like, you know, they were prevented from getting the education that they should have, but they were able to find it, often they say, by ear, by listening or something like that, right? Interesting. So Katya Grineva, and she is playing at Carnegie Hall. Here we go. Carnegie Hall. Here's the handbill for it, the hand card. Oh, here it goes. And she presents a classical holiday at Carnegie Hall Wednesday, December 27th, 2017. And what is it? It says you go to www.carnegiehall.org.org, and you can call Carnegie Charge at 212-247-7800. I don't know, okay? And the box office is located at 57th Street and 7th Avenue. So just go to katyagrineva.com, right? No, not there. But that's a good place to go anyway. Go there anyway. But carnegiehall.org. Great. And you'll be playing Beethoven, Bach. I don't know all these names. Gounod?
Oh, that's Gounod is Ave Maria.
Ave Maria. I see. Ave Maria, the famous Ave.
Yeah.
Forget it. I go very low, very slow when I sing. Mozart, Schubert, Liszt, Tchaikovsky, Chopin. De Falla, Byron Duckwall, which is your partner, and Gershwin. Great. All right, so wonderful. So this is, the Stern Auditorium, Perlman Stage. I've been there. It's big. It's always packed. You have a lot of young people there. We'll talk about that in a minute because I want to go to your DVD here, and this was recorded in Singapore, but it's a good example of your work, and we're going to listen to Chopin, if I get it right, Nocturne in E flat major, right? All right, what's E flat major? Okay, great. I love all that kind of terminology. Let's listen to it and come back and we'll talk some more about this music.
That's a nice, I like this piece.
Beautiful. So that was Chopin in the Nocturne in E flat minor. What's a nocturne means night, right?
It's a night song.
A night song. Why is that? What do they mean by a nocturne?
That's what Chopin was famous for, like writing 20 nocturnes, actually 21.
Okay.
And it's him who, there was another composer before who started it, John Field, but then Chopin took it to another level. And actually this year I'm going to record all of them. That's my next big project.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? So
I love them. They're the most lyrical, beautiful pieces.
they are. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
And you really wanted me to play that one so people
I'm
would hear
playing
it.
it at Carnegie Hall.
You're actually playing
Yeah.
that. So if people come to
Yeah.
Carnegie Hall, they can see
They'll
you
hear
play it.
that.
Play it live, and you see your adoring audience. You know, they adore you. So what? Okay, I just want to stay on that for 1 second more. Nocturne, night music. What kind of circumstance would that be played normally? Like what? Would you play nocturne at a regular concert, or would it be something?
Yeah.
All right, or you would play at home for the guests, or something like that, or
You can do it. I mean, I would always include 1 or 2 nocturnes in my concerts because they just connect to your heart. They're so beautiful.
right.
Yeah.
So
But of course, like when Chopin lived, it was all salon music. It was not really concert halls.
right.
So he played it in the private homes
Right.
in Paris.
In Paris,
yeah.
right? Oh my gosh! And what years? When was he active?
He lived from 1810 to 1849.
That's all.
Only 39 years. Yeah.
He did all that in 39 years.
Yes.
Boy, you couldn't fool around in those days, right? Move,
Yeah.
right? And so the first part of so people would hear this in their home, and he mostly played in France, so people would
He
hear
lived
this
in Paris.
in Paris. So people would. Was he French? Is Chopin French?
You know, he was Polish,
he was
but
Polish.
he lived in Paris.
Right. How come all these brilliant Polish people wind up in Paris? You know.
Why so many people wind up in Paris to
It's
begin
like-
with,
right.
right?
Right.
I was just
in
in Paris
you were-
in
yes.
November.
Oh, November, right?
Yeah.
You were all over the world. Because that's what I was going to get to next. That was a nice segue into the idea of traveling, because you don't spend all your time in New York, but you seem to love New York,
It's my center.
right? The center of your operation, right?
Right.
But you've been all over the world. I get your Facebook posts. I look it up. You're in Northern California one day, South Africa the next day, Asia the day after that. Where have you been playing this year?
Yeah, I played a lot in California this year. I was 3 times in Northern California.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
And then I was twice in Africa. In June, I went to Kenya, and that was an amazing tour because I actually did fundraising concert to raise money for the slums with kids who have musical talent, and they buy instruments for them, and then they have a chance to practice and get out of the slums.
Right. So they get out of the slums and they practice music and they get to see you perform.
So we did concerts to raise money for people to buy the musical instruments, but I also went and I performed for them in the slum.
Oh, really?
And that was very difficult to see the conditions they live in. They're horrible. But the kids just were so sweet and appreciative, and it was
They
amazing.
loved it, right?
Yeah.
Did they cheer when you played? And
I mean, it was really amazing. And then I went to Namibia, and I gave 3 concerts in Namibia.
Wow.
And now I was just in Cape Town last month. I
Right.
gave 4 concerts in Cape Town.
Right.
So it seems like I go a lot to Africa every
Okay.
year,
All
at
right,
least
you-
once or twice.
You have a lot of miles, right? What do they call those miles, right? Okay, great. So, Katya, you're playing. Let's tell everybody so they know. You'll be playing here at Carnegie Hall on Wednesday, December 27th. It's at 8 p.m. At the Stern Auditorium, Perlman Stage, and it's a classical holiday. And people can find out more at carnegiehall.org, carnegiehall.org. And although this is not the place to get tickets or anything, but to learn more about you and to get your CDs and DVDs, you can go to katyagrineva.com. Katya, Grineva.com. And let's talk a little bit about children, because that's one of the interesting aspects of your concerts. Whenever I go, there's many, many children there. And you make a point of bringing children from the New York City school system to your shows. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I think it's so important for kids to hear classical music when they're still young and to inspire them. And there's not much education right now in schools to begin with. So I go during the year and I play for them at schools. But then I offer tickets through the schools, like people can get free tickets to bring their kids to the concert. And I also bring kids, like children, who cannot the parents cannot afford taking them, so we give tickets away in Bronx to like
great.
some schools with underprivileged kids.
How do you choose the schools?
It's really more like the people I know.
I see.
Or
teachers?
Teachers, I know, principals.
Okay.
So I work with them. And then David Pope, he has a foundation in Tuckahoe, so he supports my efforts every year.
Oh, great.
So we do it, he is really fantastic.
What's the secret of your success 17 years at Carnegie Hall? I mean, I've never heard of anybody doing 17 years at Carnegie Hall, except maybe the Rockettes. So that's at the other hall. Wait a second. You're not the Rockettes. Wait, how do you do 17 years? How did they love you? They must love you, right?
I missed 1 year because my mom was sick and I couldn't play that year because I had to take care of her. And they sent me so many dates. They wanted me to come back. So then I thought, well, they really love when I'm come to perform there. But I never thought, like me playing 17 years in a row at Carnegie Hall. I just kind of do it every year.
Yeah.
And then when you count them, the numbers add up.
Right. You didn't think of it that way.
Suddenly you're like, wow,
it wasn't like you were thinking
amazing.
how many years. You look back on it
Yeah.
and it became an issue, like 17 years.
But it's very important for me to give this concert every year. First of all, I think like the Stern Auditorium at Carnegie Hall is the most beautiful hall in the world. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And the acoustics and the atmosphere and the sound is so pure. It's just amazing. So, and there's something about that hall that you just want to do your best, and it makes you humble. And I always feel like next year I want to be even better person.
Those
or
amazing
better musician.
acoustics, right?
Yeah.
And it's the real thing. It holds what, about 2,000, 3,000 people?
It's about 3,000.
3,000, right? So it's a big hall.
Very big.
Yeah, but beautiful acoustics, as you said. And your piano. Tell us about what kind of piano. You come a long way since the upright, right, days.
Well,
no more player pianos for you.
Well, at Carnegie Hall, I was just there yesterday choosing a piano. So they have two big 9-foot Steinways. One is from Hamburg, one is from New York. So I chose the New York one, just because the sound seemed to fit me better.
Okay. So you play both, and
I played both, and then I chose one.
You choose one. It's an emotional thing, mostly, right? Something that connects with you. So you got the one from New York.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So great. So and so you're going to tell us a little bit about your choice. Is this going to be as music as holiday oriented as your past shows?
Well, there's a lot of holiday, like Yea, So Joys of Man's Desiring is one of the most famous pieces I think played for holidays.
Right.
Then I'm playing Ave Maria Gounod, Bizet. Then I'm playing Tchaikovsky Nutcracker, Suite.
That's big. Everybody loves that.
3 pieces, yeah.
Have you done that before? Have you done that one?
Yeah, I don't think I did. I did a couple of movements, but this year I'm playing 3 movements. They're beautiful.
All right,
and then I'm playing I'll Be Home for Christmas, a special arrangement.
Okay.
So that's very beautiful.
Right. So it's a holiday,
But I'm also
theme.
But I'm also playing Beethoven Moonlight Sonata, the whole thing.
Oh wow!
And the first movement everybody knows, and but the third movement is so demanding, pianistically and dramatic. And I was just on a tour in Cape Town, and producer asked me to play that piece, and people just they loved it so much. So when I returned, I decided to put it in the program.
All right, great.
So I added it.
So you're going to open up with that, it looks like, right?
The first one? Opening up the second half of that.
Oh, the second half. That's the second half, right? So this is not necessarily the order that it happens, right?
Yeah.
So, wonderful. So Katya, you're playing at Carnegie Hall Wednesday, December 27th, this year, 2017. It's almost the end of 2017, 8 p.m. And people can go to carnegiehall.org. So what's next year, God? And what do you have for us next year? What are you going to be doing after January?
Well, my next project, I want to make that recording I was telling you about, all Chopin Nocturnes.
Oh, really? And that'll be a CD, or?
That will be 2 CDs, because you can't record them on one CD. It'll be a set of 2 CDs.
Right.
And I'll do CD release in July.
Right.
At actually Carnegie Recital Hall.
Where do you record?
Actually, I'm going to record in my own apartment because I have very beautiful Steinway. And we just bought the best mics.
Okay.
And Byron, my friend, is going to do engineering. And I already recorded one CD in my apartment, and it sounds fantastic. Because
So we turned my apartment in New York into a recording studio, basically.
Wow, well, they let you do that. That's crazy. That's what you have to do. What about, we only have half a minute. I wish there was more broadcast outlets for classical music. What I'm trying to do is reestablish classical music in broadcast world.
That's wonderful.
You know, and I hope that we can do that, you know, here on M&N and let them talk, and hopefully all you other broadcasters out there who might listen to this show and know my work from the radio, WBAI and Progressive Radio Network, can see the importance of really showing this kind of music, letting people learn about this beautiful, beautiful music that's so deep in our history. So thank you very much, Katya, for joining us.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it, and we'll see you next week with another great show.